children. I don't care. All I need is my music. I don't need you. And I don't need you. And I don't need you. And I don't need you. You're just sitting there, all high and mighty in your diaper. If anything, you need me. You're a baby.
Come on, Miles.
Don't you dare take Miles.
What is up, YouTube, and welcome back to Tactical Newbie, the channel where a newbie like me gets into all things tactical. With the funny movie introductions out of the way, per usual, like we always do, let's get right into today's video. So today's video is going to be yet another tactical comparison video. So the tactical comparison segment of videos is basically where I take a Gucci gear or Gucci manufacturer product and I compare it to its budget counterpart, basically go over all the similarities, differences, and everything in between, and just kind of highlight basically in some schemes or another how accurate of a clone the budget-friendly clone counterpart is in comparison to the real thing, or how inaccurate and lower quality that said clone may be. In most instances, I try the best I can to give an honest attempt to give you, the viewer, and you, the tactical-minded individual, an honest look and comparison between these two products. And there's no incentive for me whatsoever for you to buy the Gucci or the budget. At the end of the day, it's your personal discretion on where you want to go. I feel like it's just my duty to just highlight the similarities, differences, and let you make that decision for yourself on the direction or route that you decide to go. With that being said, with this specific tactical comparison video, or at least this pretty strong segment of videos that featured the Faro Concepts FCPC V5 and its basically its budget counterpart, the Petac Gear FCPC V5, excuse me. This will be kind of like a pause, I guess that's the best way to put it, a pause on the tactical comparison between these two specific products and the products that I'm kind of building it out to feature. We are going to kind of transition into some other content, but we will be coming back to obviously featuring the FCPC V5 and the Petac Gear FCPC V5. It's just at this present moment, to be honest with you, I've run out of Gucci stuff to highlight with that specific plate carrier system at the moment, and kind of got to get a backlog of other products. And for anybody that does know, buying certain things from Faro Concepts can be a little bit expensive. Buying things from Spiritus Systems can be a little expensive. So that stuff takes time to accrue. But with all the rambling out of the way, we will today, in today's tactical comparison video, as I ramble, we will be featuring the Spiritus Systems Mutant pouch and be cross-comparing it to the clone Amazon counterpart. As you can tell, these things are very, very similar off the rip. Price, like I said, comparisons across the board are pretty similar. But of course, we'll get in depth and in detail to that once we get down on the table. But yeah, long story short of it, that's the basically tactical comparison for this specific video. Yeah, with all that being said, I'll see you guys on the other side.
Alrighty, and away we go. So first, we'll start off by taking a look at the Spiritus Systems Mutant pouch. Retail price for the pouch within itself is $87.95. That does not include tax and, of course, any delivery charges that might be attached. And we'll compare that to the Amazon clone, which has a retail price of $32.99. Again, same thing as the Spiritus, not accounting for tax and or delivery charges. So all in all, there's pretty vast similarities between these two pouches. Of course, we'll dive down in deeper to taking a look at these similarities as we go along. First, we'll start by taking a look at the Spiritus Systems. Again, $87.95 retail price with the screenshot. It's basically right in line with what you expect from anything from Spiritus Systems. High quality across the board. Laser cut slits down the one side, obviously to allocate any type of modeling or using any type of like ranger bands or anything like that to band on any type of small tourniquets or anything small of that nature. You do have the laser cut slits on the back side to obviously molly the pouch onto any type of cummerbund and or battle belt system, backpack, you name equipment. All in all, the material is of a great, just standard, I guess, nylon material, similar to the Jasta pouch. My main purpose, what I was kind of looking at with setting up this pouch, is kind of setting it up as kind of like a faux like nod and comms pouch. Basically, the one corner to hold my radio, and then just the slit, the bigger pocket to hold nods when I do get them. Taking a look at the side, quote unquote, I'm just going to call it a radio pocket. You do have the elastic bands up on the top with the clasp that you can basically unclasp if needed to release the radio if you needed to access it at any point. From here, we'll take a look at the front pouch that also does have a front clasp. Stitching within the hook and loop Velcro, excuse me, is very, very good. You do have that elastic tab over to the side. You do also have hook and loop Velcro on the inseam, so that way you can drop the front lip of the flap into the actual pouch within itself. You want to kind of keep it like as a open face, like I said, miniature dump pouch, very, very similar to kind of the style setup with the Jasta pouch. But all in all, like I said, this is kind of a good, well-rounded kind of like mutant pouch. Essentially, it can kind of do anything that you kind of really want it to do, whether really with your imagination is kind of the limit of what you want. Like I did state before, I am going to kind of make this kind of a makeshift comms and nods style pouch just to kind of hold some of the essentials, batteries, obviously for that stuff, maybe some of the comm equipment and any of that stuff down the line. But moving over to the Amazon clone, show the screenshot there for the $32.99. One of the biggest differences that I'll kind of make a bigger emphasis in a little bit later part of the video is it does seem like that the Amazon clone is similar to the clone Jasta pouch, made of like a more rigid nylon material. Everything is still laser cut, and all the kind of I guess laser cut slits and holes and everything of that nature is on a similar configuration to the original Mutant pouch, but the material within itself does seem to be a little bit stiffer, and it does seem to, at least in my personal opinion, seem a little bit more I'm not gonna say well built, but just it seems like it can handle a little bit more. Now, whether or not that is actually true, I do not know. I am not in no way, a nylon expert, as I've made perfectly clear for a bunch of these videos now. But all in all, it just seems to be of a like more rigid style nylon material. But aside from that, everything else is pretty much exactly the same. You got the elastic bands that, of course, like I stated before, kind of hold radio or comms or anything into that kind of one side pocket. You do have the basically the latch system there that will kind of release those elastic bands. At the front tab, you also have another buckle as well. You do have hook and loop Velcro on the front face, very similar to the OG Mutant pouch. You do have an X sewing style configuration. Again, pardon my terrible descriptors here. And then, of course, the same similar sewing pattern on for the at least the hook portion of the Velcro. On the interior of the pouch, similar to the OG one, you do have loop as well on the inseam for the hook to grab onto if you wanted to slide that front over lip or whatever the case may be into the actual pocket within itself, and kind of create an open face style pouch to be able to drop items in. Again, as I stated multiple times before, really the usage of these pouches, of any of the pouches or any of the gear that I kind of showcase, is really up to the potential and what you kind of want to do with it. Everybody's going to have kind of a different methodology that they plan on using certain equipment with and for. But as I stated before, I'm probably going to make this kind of a makeshift radio and nods type pouch, and just to hold some of that extra stuff.
Let me tell you how this is gonna go down. First, I'm gonna kick you in the chin, breaking your jaw in 4 places. I'm gonna take you and karate flip you over my back, and then knee your nose into your brain, killing you instantly. I do want to get a throat rip in here. Think that's gonna be you, small fry. One thing I do know, at the end of the day, cunt, I'm gonna rip your dick off and shove it in your mouth, and that is non-negotiable. Who's first?
Alrighty, now from here, we'll kind of touch on the dimensions of both of these pouches, kind of showcase the similarities in size and everything of that nature. First, taking a look at the front face between the two pouches. One of the big distinct differences you can see is that the clasps are of a different size. Of course, we will touch on that in a little bit later. Taking it over to the back side, you can see that the back rear face of the both pouches are pretty much almost exactly identical. Dimensions from a side profile pretty much showcase the same. They're pretty much dimensionally exactly the same within reason. One of the biggest things that it does seem like, at least to the naked eye, is that the Amazon variant, it does seem like, at least sometimes when I look at it at different angles, a little bit bigger than the Spiritus Systems variant, or for the actual OG version. That could be completely off base, and they could be actually closer in size than the reality is, but just sometimes I look at the pouches and it just feels like the Amazon variant is a little bit bigger. Not to say that would necessarily help you or hinder you anything down the line, but yeah. Now touching on the clasps that I did kind of mention a little bit earlier, as you can tell, there is a pretty distinct difference in clasp size. I don't know if necessarily, again, that will help and or hinder holding the front flap of both of these pouches, but something to take into consideration. You do have a pretty distinct size difference between the two clasps, but all in all, quality and stitching of the loops that hold the clasps together and hold them into place still pretty much seem pretty much on par across the board. So like I said, I don't think it's going to necessarily make a big difference with these distinct differences in size of clasps, but for somebody that might think bigger is better, and might have a more secure hold on certain pieces of equipment, might be something to take into consideration, and might want to go the Amazon variant, because at least we know distinctly, taking a look at it, that the clasps are bigger. All in all, just kind of doing another side profile of the side clasps on that other kind of insert there, where I plan on putting like a radio. Again, clasps are pretty much, like I said, distinctly different. You do have a smaller clasp with the Spiritus Systems. Again, not necessarily know if that would make a difference, but just kind of really wanted to kind of showcase that big distinct difference, because aside from everything else, the clasps are kind of the big kind of elephant in the room, or kind of standout variant or standout difference between these products. Taking a look at the nylon, I guess, flaps for the Molly system, you can tell that they're pretty much exactly the same across the board. Again, you have laser cut Molly on the back side to be able to Molly these pouches onto any sort of battle belt, cummerbund, backpack, you name it, anything with Molly slits, you should be able to Molly it on. Taking a look at the side with the laser cut holes, it looks like just holes where I think you could run some like Ranger bands to be able to tie something down, and then the slits for Molly if you want to Molly something on. At least offers the availability of either or, depending on the direction that you want it to go. Again, flipping backside over to the radio pouch side, just to kind of showcase that elastic tab up at the top, and then the elastic Ranger bands that kind of hold everything into place for that pocket. Keep in mind that these side pockets are a looser style pocket. You can't, the tabs within themselves, the Ranger band tabs, are pretty much made to hold whatever you do put in this pocket into place. Obviously, if you were to remove them or do anything of that nature, the thing that would be in that specific pocket would be a little bit more free floating.
Yeah, sure thing, Russ. If you're up for it, I can always use an extra set of hands.
Well, I was born with an extra set of hands.
It's an odd thing to say. Well, you know, I reckon this will be the highlight of your trip. Wow.
Alrighty, now from here, which is kind of the standard per usual for most of the tactical comparison videos, we're going to be doing the at least install of both of these pouches. More so than anything, it's kind of just a highlight for anybody that is interested in buying one of these pouches, maybe not necessarily knowing how to Molly items in. At least gives you a decent enough I guess, reference point to know how to Molly these pouches on. Keep in mind, there's no real rocket science to Mollying. It's pretty standard for the most part. Everybody can, there might be some slight variation depending on person, maybe at the end of the day, but really across the board, it's Mollying is Mollying. It's just weaving, you know, basically weaving nylon into nylon or into like some sort of Tigris thermoplastic or whatever the case may be, to at least just basically tie them into each other. But yeah, with all the rambling out of the way, we'll just kind of continue on through. What you'll kind of see is, like I said, just kind of the highlight of me installing this pouch on. I'll kind of leave at least the rambling to a minimum. Obviously, I don't want to be talking your guys' ear off through the entire installation process. Of course, if there's any reason whatsoever for me to feel like I have to kind of jump in and add a little bit of detail or add a little bit of reference, I will do so. But yeah, for the most part, I'll let you guys kind of enjoy and watch the mollying of these items in, and jump in as I see fit. Alrighty, now as I'm kind of wrapping up here on the final kind of components on the mollying of the pouch, at least I guess maybe for shits and giggles, like to touch on just some of the stuff and my general idea for this specific plate carrier system and what I was kind of mapping out in my head as kind of a setup for this. I'm obviously this far along now in the channel. Anybody that's been following me pretty steadily knows that I have highlighted quite a bit of Gucci gear at this point across the board. Obviously, my first endeavor into the Gucci, which was the Faro Concept Slickster in the Wolf Gray. Then, of course, I kind of from there went to kind of a 1-2 punch with the Agilite K19 and the Faro Concepts FCPC V5. I did kind of touch on and evolve further point in the future. Spoiler alert for any of you that hardcore followers of the channel. I did kind of jump into the unknown with the T-Rex Arms AC1. So there will be kind of a little bit of highlight on that specific plate carrier system as well. But long and short of it is, at the end of the day, I'm kind of gonna really just hunker down and devise a specific plate carrier systems for a specific methodology or application on how I see fit. Some of those applications really will just kind of be focused around whether or not they're going to be a real steel application for the Gucci, or whether or not I'll be running certain pieces of equipment in mil-sim events. Most of that stuff, or airsoft events, most of that stuff will be just generally for the budget stuff. The main application of what I want to try to do with a lot of these plate carrier systems, obviously, first of all, being a gear nerd, and this is, everybody has their hobby. Some people like collecting, I guess, guns. Some people like collecting shoes. Some people like collecting a number of different varying things. At the end of the day, this is kind of my thing, I guess. I've really kind of dove in head first and really found a true calling with that. But like I said, I was just kind of more so focused on juggling between the two plate carrier systems. The budget end is going to be more on an airsoft kind of focus, while the Gucci stuff is going to be more so on a real life, day-to-day shit hits the fan or training application. And I'm going to have like varying locations for some of these plate carrier systems based on what just kind of makes sense, whether it's like a slick style plate carrier system that I can keep in the back of my trunk just in case shit goes crazy. Have more of the kind of the hunkering down plate carriers at home. Also have a varying degree of colors, because actually where I live, I do have that wide swath of different colors. So I do have certain applications, whether it's the Ranger Green for during the summer when around my area tends to have really bright, vibrant green trees and grass and whatnot. We'll also have a lot of localized cornfields and stuff like that along the line. So that's where the coyote gray could really come into effect for the long fields of corn. If I ever needed to make use of that application, then of course you have kind of the mixes between multicam and just outright black or anything like that. And then some of the fun colors like multicam black or like wolf gray or anything like that to just kind of just add to the mix. But yeah, like, I mean, there's, at the end of the day, this is just kind of a hobby for myself and just stuff that I'd like to enjoy and showcase to you guys on the channel. But with all the rambling aside, just kind of want to kind of highlight some of that stuff across the board while I have, you know, multiple play carrier systems and stuff like that. But yeah, all in all, this is kind of a final look of how everything was mounted. And you can kind of see, like, again, just the vast similarities between the two pouches, especially when they are installed in their specific designated locations.
You're still here. It's over. Go home. Oh, you're expecting a teaser for Deadpool 2. Well, we don't have that kind of money. You expecting Sam Jackson show up with an eye patch and a saucy little leather number? Go.
Alrighty guys, I hope you liked the video. Of course, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below. Let me know what you think of this tactical comparison video. Let me know what you think of previous tactical comparison videos down the line. As I did kind of highlight at the intro, the very lengthy intro of this video, the tactical comparison segment of videos, at least for this specific feature of parts that are kind of self-contained to the Faro Concepts FCPC V5 and the Pet Tac Gear FCPC V5. Those tactical comparison components or videos will kind of be put on hold in the interim as I try to accrue more of some of the gear that I plan on building these play carriers out to kind of be finalized as, or to reach their final evolution, so to speak. There will be other tactical comparison videos that do and will feature other items, one of which, spoiler alert, will be right behind me, which is the T-Rex Arms AC1. And ironically, the budget-friendly option, which I found on AliExpress. But with rambling out of the way, let's just get right to the end of the video. I do have a Twitter/X. Link is in the description down below if you'd like to follow me there. I do have a Patreon. Links in the description down below as well. If you'd like to offer any sort of patronage to the Tactical Newbie channel to obviously help the channel grow. As I've stated multiple times, this is a one-man operation solely funded by myself. Obviously juggling all the multiple other responsibilities that I have at the home, and doing the best I can to offer at least fun content. As the channel does grow, hopefully I can feature and kind of offer more things, but it being a solo operation, I only have so much time to give and only so much money to put forward into it, considering a high amount of the money that I do invest in this is for the gear. But yeah, with all the rambling out of the way, I will see you guys next week.